Today's practice is be easy. Yesterday was one of those days where nothing went the way I had planned it. And yet, it was the perfect day. But the only way I could end up seeing it as the perfect day was to be easy. Easy like Sunday morning, as Lionel Richie and the Commodores sang. So I had all these things planned yesterday. In my head, I was going to get all these things accomplished, and mostly for me. I had a certain kind of walk planned. I had my own to-do list. I had the timing all rolled out. I was going to stop early because literally in 4 weeks I have not taken a day off. And I thought, take an evening off. As the day rolled out and was going differently, I thought, I really need to just clear my head. I'm going to take a non-essential 45-minute drive and go see the sunset from the top of a mountain. The phone rang after I got lost, and I ended up on 2 calls with a client and one about money in an empty parking lot, no sunset. I ended up working till 10 o'clock, and it was all perfect. It's what I wrote my blog about this morning, and there's a lot more detail and story in that blog. But what ended up happening was I did really good work for my clients that made them really happy, and I woke up this morning to emails thanking me and saying, fantastic, thanks for your part in getting this done. I ended up having a long conversation with my neighbor, who is literally the only living, breathing person I've talked to for 4 weeks, who I just am so grateful is my neighbor. And right when everything was sort of getting particularly frazzled, I went out onto my front steps and she had left me a huge bouquet of lilacs, because one of the things we had talked about was how much we both love lilacs, and lilacs don't grow very well here. And now I have, because she knew where there was an empty lot with beautiful lilac bushes, this gorgeous picture of lilacs in my house, and lilacs are my favorite flower, and I get to look at them all day long. The song, Easy Like Sunday Morning, is about a guy who feels like his girlfriend and the world are trying to get him to be who he knows he isn't. And so the only thing he can do is walk away and learn to be easy, easy like Sunday morning. And so that's what I had to do yesterday when everything changed. I had to shift my perspective and be easy. One of the conversations I had during my walk yesterday with a couple of friends was about some really tough stuff that's going on as a result of this global pandemic. A rise in child abuse, sexual abuse, domestic abuse, and I heard some specific and general stories. And I don't know about you, but when I hear stories like that, I wonder what I can do. And by the end of the day, I realized that being easy was one of the things I can do. I live and walk through a neighborhood where there's a lot of poverty and a lot of different responses to what's going on. And sometimes I see things that are a little bit hard to see. Small clusters of people drinking a lot of alcohol in a tightly knit, definitely not social distance group. If I walk by in judgment, all that's going to be felt is judgment. But if I'm easy and walk by in love and express love by waving and smiling and saying, take care of yourselves, there's no reaction that another person can have. My easy moves into their space in the form of love, and love will always have her perfect work. Yesterday I was working with a customer service person, and he told me that his wife had just told him how wildly imperfect he was in language that he could hardly understand because she's English, and some of the things she said were not words he'd heard before. So before we hung up, I ended up telling him a story about something similar that had happened to me with my stepmother, who wrote a 4-page letter telling me all these horrible things that I was, except that I had no idea what they meant. And so I spent the next week with all my college friends as we tried to dissect what all these words meant. Wow, that sounds like, do you think she meant that? She couldn't mean that. Oh my God. And we started laughing so hard, my friends and I, and when I told him this story, he started laughing so hard. And that story of ease, of being easy, shifted something for him. And down there in the basement working, maybe he didn't feel so bad about having to go up and have lunch with her. When we're easy shifts not only our own lives, but it goes out into the world as another form of the healing energy of love. These heart-centered practices, they're actually easy to do. That's the whole point. It's our lives that we've made so complicated that we think that everything has to be a do. Be easy. Easy like Sunday morning. Let it ripple out into your life and the world. And together we can take love viral and love this world whole. Because love heals. Be easy.